Today we're going to talk about managing the core sensitivities. Now these videos have been produced for the online social media internship program so that the intern can watch this, and it gives them some tips and some things to look out to when they're actually managing social media pages, particularly with Facebook and LinkedIn. So what are the core sensitivities? Well, the core sensitivities, basically what they are motivations for people's actions, but sometimes the motivations can become what's known as pathological. Okay, an intense need for affirmation or self-worth, for example, could turn into narcissism. Okay, just as an example there. Okay, now there's actually three core sensitivities. It's not just with narcissism. They're derived from Narcissistic disorders of self, and there's actually three: narcissism, we've got borderline personality disorder, and schizoid personality disorder, which we'll go into in this video. You can get more information on Narcissistic disorders of self, and there's a journal article that you can look up online. It's in the Psychotherapy and Counselling Journal of Australia. If you Google core sensitivities, clinical evolution of Narcissistic disorders of self. Now there's a guy that I've been talking to, a university professor called Joe Coyne. He's the head of the supervisor of the master's program in developmental and educational psychology. He's also the supervisor of the Circle of Security parenting program in Australia, I think with one other lady as well. Okay, so you can go through this. It explains in depth the three disorders of self, and it also goes into a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about, how people flick between the three disorders, and it goes into, we're going to talk about these characteristics, which is the slides and that I'm going to use in this talk today. Okay, most of us rely on a gentler form of navigating these sensitivities as we build up friendships, create relationships, and of course seek solace. So, you know, introverts need to go away and recharge and things like that too. Okay, so it's not just a matter of people don't just have one, but they do tend to have a dominant one. Okay, so the core sensitivities are actually, they aren't describing the actions we take or even necessarily the behaviors that we manifest. Okay, instead, it's characterizing motivations for our actions. So it's basically, it's not a matter of diagnosing, it's just giving you a place to start. So it's not meant for to be used for psychologists to actually do a differential diagnosis. They can do that sort of thing, but if you're in the workplace and managing it, it gives you an idea so that you can change your actions, which you're going to be able to change their reactions. So what you'll find is that people tend to have all three sensitivities, but you can trigger them at different times, and it depends on their situation and their experience, and there's a lot to it. But they do give away cues as to which is the most sensitive, and that's what's most likely to cause a subconscious reaction and a lot of the issues where they basically flip their lid. Now you hear them talk about an amygdala hijack. There's a good model out there called the hand model of actually talks about the way the brain operates. And when they talk about flipping their lid, you've got your prefrontal cortex, which is the first part there, which is the reasoning center of the brain, which is connected to the amygdala in there, which is where the reactions might come from. Okay, so what's happening is they're just pumping away, and all of a sudden the triggers, their sensitivities get triggered, and they flip their lid. Now that's how Daniel Siegel would describe it. But this is going into, okay, well, how do we recognize when that happens? What do we do when it happens? And then being self-aware enough to know what you're doing and what you're looking at doing, and how you can actually de-escalate the situation there as well.